Range script loaded, you can now press Escape, select Choose Slot, and pick your aircraft. The Saab Gripen can mount just a single type of unguided rocket, the Bofors Arak M70B, which is a 135mm rocket, previously used by the Saab Legion. These rockets are mounted on pods with 6 rockets each, and on DCS it is available with 2 warheads. M70B, AP armor piercing. M70B, HE high explosive. The rockets are fired pressing the same trigger used for the cannon, and all rockets will be fired if you hold the trigger down. You can fire shorter salvos if you just touch the trigger, but you can't set the exact amount. The M70 basic specifications are: weight, 100 pounds, caliber, 135mm, maximum range, 3.7 kilometers. For this training mission, we will use the same weapons range as our previous missions, that uses objects created by the 476 Virtual Fighter Group, and a range script developed by the user Serbov, that will allow you to gauge your firing precision. The aircraft mounts 2 pods with armor-piercing rockets, and 2 pods with the high-explosive version. You should fire first the AP ones, as they produce less smoke on the target. You can access the shooting statistics calling up the F10 option of the communications menu. Press spacebar to begin the mission. We will contact the air traffic controller, ATC, to request. On the communications menu, select F5, ATC, F1, Saipan International, F3, Request Startup. As we have seen on previous missions, DCS does not detect our aircraft status, so the communications menu should be still open. Select F1. Request taxi to runway. After a few seconds, ATC should clear you to taxi to a designated runway. Take note of the runway that has been assigned. On this mission, ATC should assign runway 7. Your aircraft is ready to taxi. Increase throttle and let the aircraft move forward. Once the aircraft is moving, press the wheel brakes to confirm their operation. Release the wheel brakes and resume the taxi. Be careful of other traffic that may be near you. Good, now turn right and proceed west along the border of the ramp, towards the runway start. Reduce speed a bit and turn left slightly, onto Street G. Next, turn slightly to the right and continue taxiing on runway 24. We are nearing the end of runway 24, reduce speed and turn left onto Street H. You are now almost at runway 07, stop just short of entering it and call ATC for clearance. Good, now press COM1 to contact ATC. Select F1. Request takeoff. Once ATC has given clearance, increase throttle, turn left to enter the runway, align with its center line, and stop the aircraft for a final check. DCS has a bug which sometimes prevents ATC from transmitting his clearance, so, if ATC does not answer, increase throttle, and turn left to enter the runway anyway. Align with its center line, and stop the aircraft for a final check. Once you are aligned with the runway center line, bring the aircraft to a halt.
Enfield 1-1, unable to clear for takeoff. Enfield 1-1.
From a previous training mission, you should already know the drill. Perform a brief before takeoff check. 4.1. Canopy. Confirm it's closed and locked. 4.2. Seat. Arm, by pushing the highlighted lever down. 4.3. Landing lights. Change from taxi to landing lights. 4.4. Auxiliary power unit. Check it's running. 4.5. Speed brakes. Confirm they are closed. We are now ready to take off. Press wheel brakes, increase throttle to military power. As the engine accelerates through 90%, release brakes to prevent skidding the tires. Use the rudder pedals, or Z and X keys, to maintain the aircraft aligned with the runway. Once the rotation cue on the HUD creeps upward, pull back on the control stick to raise the nose. On the air. Retract the landing gear, by clicking the handle. Don't exceed 330 knots with the gear down. For optimum initial climb, keep the X-axis symbol between the top of the two vertical poles. Keep the current heading, climb to 3,000 feet and accelerate to 350 knots.
Airborne.
Turn right towards a heading of 180 degrees. Maintain 350 knots and 3,000 feet altitude.
Colt 1, airborne.
Turn right again. The weapons range is on the north tip of Tinian Island, on a heading of 270 degrees. The gun strafing pits are on the southern side of the range. Keep 350 knots and 3,000 feet altitude.
Uzi 1, airborne.
We have paused the mission briefly, to guide you through the weapons procedure. It has two parts: weapon preparation, and weapon use. 1. Set air to ground mode. Press the 7 key. This will configure the mission computer for the use of air-to-ground weapons, including the unguided rockets. 2. Select weapon. On the HUD, the IP ground symbology will show, and on its bottom left the currently selected weapon type will be displayed. Press the D key, to cycle among the different weapon types that you currently carry. With your current loadout, it will cycle between the armor-piercing and the high-explosive rockets. Select the AP rockets first, as they produce less smoke and thus won't obscure the target too much. 3. Master Arm Safety Switch, set to live. This enables all the weapon firing circuits of the aircraft. After these 3 steps, the rockets are ready to use. For the actual firing, follow these next steps. 4. Trigger safety, up. On the flight stick, click on the trigger safety cover. It will remain up until you click on it again. 5. Place the impact point reticle on the HUD, over the target and keep it there. 6. Wait for the L symbology to appear on the HUD. Currently there seems to be a bug and the L appears even if we are still out of range. For ranging, use the arrow at the range scale instead. 5. Press the gun trigger, to fire. Give a very short squeeze for a short rocket burst. Press and hold to fire all the rockets on a single salvo. For this training, firing short bursts improve accuracy, even if you may need to perform more than a single pass to fire all the rockets. For rocket firing, the HUD is almost the same as when using the gun. We will only describe the main differences, instead of describing every item. Zoom the display so that you can see the HUD symbology better, using the asterisk and the slash keys, on the numeric keypad. The most important HUD symbology is the impact point circle, with its central dot. It shows the point and the ground that the rockets would hit if fired now. The LQ seems to be bugged, as it is displayed even if the target is still out of range. So, for shooting rockets, wait until the range arrow is between the 2 blocks that represent the maximum and minimum range for the selected weapon. Unfortunately, there is no way to see exactly how many rockets remain on each pod. Once a pod is empty, its status dash at the bottom of the HUD will be cleared. Please note that once the selected rockets pods are empty, the next pair of pods will be automatically selected. This means that a single long trigger press will fire all pods uninterruptedly. If the mission computer detects that you are on collision course with the ground, 2 pull-up arrows will display on the HUD. Take immediate action, to avoid a crash. Press spacebar to unpause and continue the mission.
Passing waypoint 2 at 6,000. Overlord 1-1, airborne.
First pass. If you still have rockets left, turn left 180 degrees towards a heading of 90 degrees and perform a second pass. If you have no more rockets, turn right 180 degrees, towards set pan.
Passing waypoint 7,450. airborne.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
Second pass. If you still have rockets remaining, turn left 180 degrees towards an east heading, and perform a third pass. Otherwise, turn right 180 degrees, towards Saipan.
Passing waypoint 3 at 1,200. Overlord 1-1, passing waypoint 2 at 4,000.
Third pass. If you still have rockets remaining, you can turn left to go around and perform another pass. If you are finished, then turn right, towards Saipan. You can check your range results by pulling up the communications menu. Select F10, Other, then select F1, Range. Finally, click F3, My Bombing Results.
Passing waypoint 3 at 12,000.
Before returning to base, we must disarm the armament. We have paused the mission again, to guide you through this procedure. 1. Trigger safety, down. On the flight stick, click on the trigger safety cover. 2. Master arm safety switch, set to safe. This disables all the weapon firing circuits. 3. Set navigation mode. Press the 1 key. This will configure the mission computer for navigation. Press spacebar to unpause and continue the mission. You have finished the rocket firing part of the training. Do you want to practice the return and landing back to base? Press spacebar to continue, or press backspace to finish the training now. Head towards Saipan Air Base, ahead of us, and begin final approach. We have paused the mission once again, so that we can do a quick review of the landing checklist. 1. Flight instruments. Check heading, altitude and speed.
Overlord 1-1, passing
2.
waypoint 3 at
APU
7,000.
check that its switch is on. It will auto-activate at touchdown. 3. Landing gear lever. Extend once you are under 300 knots.
1-1, passing waypoint 4
4.
at 12,000.
Landing lights. Confirm they are at land position. 5. Landing mode. Confirm it is enabled. An L should be displayed at the top left of the HUD and the glide slope line should be visible. 6. Flaps. They are automatic and don't need to be manipulated. Press COM1 to contact ATC. Select F5, ATC, F1, Saipan International,
Concealed.
F1,
Inbound.
inbound. Press spacebar once ATC answers our communication.
Fly heading 23646. Uzi 1, touching from waypoint 6 at 4,007 to pattern altitude.
If, later on, you hear ATC messaging you with contact tower, press COM1 and select F1, request landing. Press spacebar to unpause the mission.
In field 1-1, request landing.
You are now on final approach, maneuver to align with runway 07. Use the landing symbology, positioning the dot on the desired touchdown spot and then follow the glide slope placing the FPM at the same point.
Field, passing waypoint 2 at 9,000. Overlord 1-1, passing waypoint 4 at 7,000. Enfield 1-1, check landing gear, runway 07.
Touchdown.
1-1, passing waypoint 5 at 8,000. Overlord 1-1, passing waypoint 5 at 6,000.
Once your speed is below 40 knots, exit on the next available street, to the left.
Enfield 1-1, taxi to parking area.
This is Street D, proceed north towards runway 24. You have landed safely back at Saipan. Do you want to practice the taxi to the ramp? Press spacebar to continue, or press backspace to finish the training now. Congratulations, you have performed your rocket firing training, and you have also done a visual approach and landing back at Saipan.